My name is Titilayo Oyinson, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you who would possibly want to join us on one-on-ones one of these days, it's really easy. All you have to do is send us an email. That's Dynamite Podcast Network at gmail.com, the Dynamite Podcast Network at gmail.com. Send us an email, and we will be connecting back with you to see how we can schedule you in. Now, there are quite a few conversations I enjoy having, especially when there's something really unique or new that's popped up. And let me ask you a question. Okay, you know what? Before I ask questions, let's just say, what do we all want as founders and leaders? Yeah, basically, what we want is freedom, the freedom to make our own rules, to be our own boss, to create things, to bring our own visions to life. And isn't this why we started our business in the first place? Yet we kind of find ourselves trapped in our own little traffic jam, piling up our days and all the drama and all the meetings and WhatsApp groups and all the other apps now. We're even threading these days. In a bid to untrap himself and others who are in this circle, the Chooseday experiment was birthed by Ronen Aires, and he is here with us to have a little discussion on how this all works. Hello and good evening, Ronen.
Hey, TT, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. Now, Ronan, you have to talk to us. What is the Chooseday experiment? And am I pronouncing it the right way? Tuesday, not Tuesday.
Yeah, well, they're both correct. So let me ask you the question first. What day is it today?
It's Tuesday.
Exactly. So in my social experiment, and really what my only New Year's resolution this year was, how do I get my sense of freedom back, my sense of control, my sense of agency? And as an entrepreneur, and I'm sure there are many leaders out there, you all know what your schedule is like Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday. It's filled with obligations. It's filled with meetings. It's filled with notifications. It's filled with most things that actually don't bring you happiness. There is so much that's required of us. And they even talk about servant leadership. But what they don't talk about is how over time, being a servant leader or just the grind of being an entrepreneurial leader wears you out throughout the year. And we find ourselves just on this one-way street to December or whenever we take our annual summer vacation and thinking that things are going to be different afterwards. And really what the Chooseday experiment was for me was my only New Year's resolution this year, where I decided that the only thing I'm going to change this year is I'm going to work on getting my freedom back. Okay. And what I did is I looked at my week and I knew that Mondays, the world wants the most from you on a Monday. And I thought, why don't I just accept that and crush it? And then I'm going to take Tuesday and I'm going to change things up. So I took Tuesday and I changed it to Chooseday, the day that I get to choose what I want to do, how I want to do it, and really to flip the switch from urgent to important, from survival to thriving, and really to change how I approach my day and my week. And it's had extraordinary results.
This happens every Tuesday, essentially, obviously.
Essentially, it's happening live as we speak.
Okay, so the day you get to choose, the day you get to have an impact on your own world and let go of this control freak lifestyle that we've all, stuck ourselves into with our calendars and our Excel sheets, etc. But you did say it's been having some great results. For those of us who are on the grind still on a Tuesday, what sort of results are we supposed to look forward to?
Yeah, so firstly, let me just tell everyone, because when I first tell people about it, I say, what would you do if you could blank slate a full day? You're not taking the day off, but what would you fill your day with? What brings you joy? What brings you purpose? And what brings you happiness? So if you take away obligation and you're putting meaning, what would you fill your day with? And And most people, when you say you've got the day to choose, their first initial reaction will, well, I'm going to sleep in. But if I told you that this is a day that I wake up the earliest in the week because I want to maximize it, and really what I have is I start every week intentionally, I don't accept any meetings. So that's the first thing I do. And so I've got this free time to really craft the day that I want to do. So whether it's mindfulness activities that I may have in my daily routine, but I would extend them. Then I start choosing the people, places, and the rhythm that I want to work at. And essentially, I take things out of frenetic pace and I take it at the pace that is manageable for me and a pace that brings out both my creativity, my inspiration, and I do things that just fill my mind, body, and soul. And so really what I have is a day that adds capacity to me instead of depletes me. So imagine a day that you still crush it. You're not
Mm.
you're not dropping any of your obligations. You're just attending to what you feel is important at the time you feel. So you have less stress, less anxiety. You 10x your meaning and your purpose, and you actually get everything done that you would usually do, but in much less time. And you have this sense of freedom and pace that you don't usually have. So it's just my favorite day of the week.
I have to say it must take a great deal of discipline to make sure that you don't essentially become a couch potato on that day. Um, because you did mention many people want to sleep in because they just feel like they can't catch up on sleep. I do know
Yeah,
of some people who take a day within the week to maybe get reading done or maybe pay attention to family. But you are saying pay attention to self.
yes,
Or am I wrong?
yeah. So it goes along the ancient principle of if you want to change the world, change yourself first. And so unfortunately we live in such a frenetic, busy world that all leaders are stressed, stretched, and oversubscribed. And
Mm.
and we're living on this treadmill that is just filled with notifications, obligations, meetings, traffic, you name it. You can just add all the layers of stuff that's on it. And so we're actually imprisoned by our own lifestyle. So this is a way to get unstuck,
Mm.
and this is a way for us to get ourselves back and find meaning. And
This
so
in December 2022. That's when you said you were done. I'm reading that here. You said you were done, done with
yeah,
constantly checking up on your team. Um, I'm trying to still trying to wrap my head around it. If, for instance, I was to implement this, I don't think I would be able to implement it with the snap of my fingers. Like just start today. Is that what you did?
yeah. And what I did was I did it in secret. So I didn't tell anyone. And all I started doing, because what I felt like in my life was I was saying yes to everyone and everything out of obligation. And really, what I started to do was to add a filter. Is this good for me today? And is this good for my business? And can it wait till tomorrow? And all I started to do, I kept it secret. I didn't even tell my team. And what I started to do was just to say no. That was the first thing. Say no to things that don't serve your highest interest. Make space for yourself and then fill it with things and the pace that, so do the important things, not the urgent things, and do things that really bring you joy, and you start getting the sense that your creativity and inspiration come back online. And then you still attend your emails and your WhatsApps and all of that, but you attend to it in a way that is just much more manageable and at your own pace. And guess what? Nothing broke. Nothing fell apart. I've
Wow.
been doing this since the beginning of the year. In fact, my team have never scored me higher as a leader before. And I only revealed it to them last week. Um, no one picked it up. No one questioned where is he on a Tuesday because I'm still available, but I'm just choosing not to fill it with things that deplete me.
Hmm.
So by putting yourself first and saying, if this was my last day on earth doing what I do, what would I do and how would I make it count? And it's just a different way to reframe your week and add capacity to your grid, to your own energy grid. It's a way to re-energize, recalibrate yourself. And guess what? It's like I find myself on Mondays working much harder to make space for Tuesdays.
Hmm.
And then on Wednesdays, most people ask, do you not have a hangover? And and in fact it's the exact opposite. I have an afterglow Wednesday, and
Wow.
Thursday and Friday seem to just roll. And what it does is it's become the highlight of my week. So instead of trying just to, like most leaders, survive the day, this is a day I thrive from the time it starts till it ends. And I'll end up getting
I
more
actually,
done, feeling
I actually
way
have
more
to
on
say,
purpose. The good things have come from that.
I'm extremely impressed with the dedication you've put towards it. For those that don't know who we're speaking with, we have with us Ronen Aires, and he is an author. He's a youth marketing expert, dynamic public speaker as well, and he's apparently always been fascinated with the human condition. He's trained globally with the best teachers in art and science and of human performance. So when he says he wants people to be on their A game, he knows what he's talking about. I want to touch on the issue of challenges or obstacles you may have faced during the execution of this experiment and how long the experiment was actually supposed to last in the first place.
Well, I really didn't put a a time frame on how long it should last. It was the challenge was to do this every week. So to make this part of my weekly ritual. And the second thing was was to make sure that I showed a lot of restraint by saying no and a lot of self-love in choosing the things that brought me joy and were really important for both myself and the business. So it was really a willpower test, in order to say no to things and to avoid urgencies where I could. And the biggest fear and challenge was actually that, as I call myself like a control freak in recovery, the biggest thing that as leaders, we want to try and control all the outcome, and we live with this belief that we're at the center of everything and things will fall apart if we don't have our hands in it. And guess what? Nothing did. If anything, things got better. And if anything, it was just a self um, I've carried on the experiment, and I'm going to continue doing because it's produced such extraordinary results. I was actually thinking early on today, do I create the second Tuesday in the week, or is one day enough?
Interesting. Now, I think when it comes to experiments, you've definitely come forward with a really interesting one that probably some might call a life hack, as you did. Um, those who are stressed, overwhelmed, depleted right now, this is something they can try. There are a lot of people going through a lot of health issues presently. There are a lot of people going through anxiety issues, mental health issues, and even things like blood pressure and hypertension and the like. Okay, so my lights just came back on. I'm
Hello.
Do you have load shedding over there still?
I'm glad someone else understands what load shedding is.
Yeah, we've been load shedding for a long time here in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So the lights just came back on. But I have to say before we wrap it up, in terms of life hacks, do you think there's any particular age group that this is essential for, and any age group that could probably just skip this one out?
So I would say for sure anyone that is ruled by a schedule. So that means they're either young professionals, entrepreneurs, hustlers, or anyone that is battling to with the constraint of time and energy. I would say this is for you. If you're retired or if you're at school, then I don't think this is really applicable to you. So
Mm,
it's really for leaders and entrepreneurs that are trying to find their A game. Here's the recipe.
mm. All right. I can see it here. It says your results were really good. It says you were crushing Mondays so you could accommodate Tuesdays. Stop worrying about your team as much. And you built up a chunk of time to do important things, not the urgent things. You are less anxious about checking your notifications, and you let go of ruminating drain in your head. And I think this is something I'm going to try out.
Exactly, TT. And I think you'll experience probably at least 50% reduction in stress, probably 100% increase in happiness, and your mental health you will just benefit so immensely. Like the rest of your week will just flow from that. And that's what we want in our lives. We want things to flow as opposed to being a struggle and a grind.
Mm. Well, we're going to be looking out for you and some of your other experiments, as this one is a really interesting one. We're talking about the Chooseday experiment, and we've been speaking with Ronan Aires. For those that don't know who he is globally trained. He's trained globally with the best teachers in the art and science of human performance, and in his role, he's helped many leaders achieve their A game. He's the co-founder and CEO of Student Village, South Africa's most prominent student marketing specialist, and he's dedicated much of his career to supporting youth and guiding them to greatness. There was something on your T-shirt I wanted to read again. It was young elder. I like that.
Yeah,
A young elder. I
yeah.
like.
And that's how I identify myself. So I stand on the shoulders of my ancestors and great ones. At the same time, I really connect with young people, and I don't see myself as old. And at the same time, I feel like I'm the bridge between both the young and the wise, and I see the young as wise. So I identify as a young elder, just like you.
Thank you so much, Ronan, for joining us on One today. It's been an enlightening conversation. A lot of things for me to think about, actually. Am I, really dedicating enough time to self? That's a question I need to answer. And how can I schedule myself a little bit better? Maybe Tuesday. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll think about it. I'll think about
But start with 2 hours of
it.
dedicated time to yourself, and then build on that. And then be in touch. I'm happy to give some guidance.
I will. I will. You are on LinkedIn with your name,
Yeah,
Ronen Aires. I've just connected with you, and if anyone watching or listening right now would like to connect with him as well, I know he'll be right there to answer loads of questions for you. Thanks again, Ronen.
absolutely. Thank you for having me, TT.
All right, then. Have a good one.
Bye.
So, hopefully, that's answered a few questions for you, because it's definitely answered a few for me. Tuesday. What do you choose to do on a Tuesday? It might be one of those choices you make that might change your life. According to Ronan, there is a lot you can do if you just choose to take a day. He decided in December 2022, that he was done with all the yeses, overthinking, done with all constantly checking up on his team, and breaking boundaries. He was done. It had been a brutal year, and he was depleted, and he needed to rebuild his enthusiasm. So a secret social experiment of his own called Chooseday, that's Choose day. And what he did was just make himself more available to himself, but only on a Tuesday. All right. They also decided to make space for business innovation on Tuesday, creative concepts that mattered to him on Tuesday, And yeah, he would pick who he would like to lunch with on a Tuesday or WhatsApp call with on a Tuesday. He would be able to choose to do what he wanted to do on a Tuesday. When you have that power, extra power of choice, it does make you feel a lot more confident about your day. It's been a pleasure on One right here. My name is Titila Oyinso. I can't wait to hear from you. If you have any comments and contributions, the chat box and the comment sections are always open on this platform and, of course, wherever you get your podcasts. Dynamite Podcast Network at gmail.com. That's Dynamite Podcast Network at gmail.com. That's the email. And, of course, the hashtag is one with Titi Oyinso if you want to find us on social media. Can't wait to be back online with you once again. Until then, stay happy, y'all. Bye.